Welcome into the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5, 97.9 HD2. Like the big voice guys say, we are at Tom's Watch Bar downtown. Myself, Brian McDonald, Sean Mapes, and Cam Smith, who Cutler left you out there. I'm sorry for that, Cam. I'm sorry for that.
What?
That you did get introduced.
The big voice guy just said Brian McDonald and Sean Mapes. He left out Cam Smith. You're an honored member of the show.
Didn't we talk about this like 2 days ago?
Well, I did ask Michael on Wednesday. He's like, hey, can you make sure to add Cam's name to it? And he said, yeah, I'll see. And then I guess he didn't see.
All right, so my beef is with Michael Carroll.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe it's with Michael Carroll.
Or Jim Cutler.
Or Jim Cutler. Yeah, your choice. Now, you have more of a chance to confront Michael Carroll than you do Jim Cutler, because I have no idea where Jim Cutler is located.
I want to confront Michael, but it's hard to confront Michael.
Yeah, he's just so lovable.
It is hard.
He
so
also
lovable.
came to my graduation.
Oh, he did?
He did.
He's such a nice guy.
He's such a great guy,
Yeah.
but
That
still.
being said,
Yeah.
bleep
Michael,
him.
I've been at this station for like 8 years. Like, why?
All right, like I said, we're at Tom's Watch Bar downtown. You can watch the home team basketball game anywhere, but there's only one place where the rally starts, and that's here at Tom's Watch Bar. Introducing Tom's Watch Bar, Red Nation Rallies at Green Street, your new Friday and Saturday home game day destination. 2 hours before tip-off, so right about now, Tom's comes alive with live DJs, team swag giveaways, and themed cocktails all season long. Headed to the game, come early, park free at Green Street with Tom's Validation like the three of us did, and walk over with the crowd, then celebrate after the game back at Tom's with post-game drinks and highlights on 65 screens here at the bar. High energy, all H-Town fans. It's Red Nation Rallies at Tom's Watch Bar, presented by Green Street. Find the full schedule at tomswatchbar.com, Red Nation Rally. So we will get into the Rockets a little bit later in the show, but right now I wanted to start off here in our first segment talking about the Texans. Obviously, Texans talk will die off over the next few weeks until we get closer to the draft, I think. But I think there's a few things to kind of go through with where we're at with this team going forward into next season. I think that has to start, of course, with the quarterback C.J. Stroud, someone that, 2 years ago at this time, we were all very high on the trajectory of his career, his potential as a starter, coming off one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time. Fast forward 2 seasons, the hype and the goodwill that C.J. Stroud has with the Texans fans in the city has certainly declined, coming off 2 historically bad postseason games. First, the record, or tying the record of Warren Moon, that is, 5 fumble game against the Steelers, and then a record of throwing 4 interceptions in the first half against the Patriots. So, guys, I don't know if you've seen this as well, but some of the conversation I've seen a lot online has been, how do we get C.J. Stroud back to his rookie year? Like, the idea of C.J. Stroud is still really good, but he's, A, being held back, and B, he's regressed from his rookie season. But as I don't know, like that just didn't seem right to me, so I started to dig into some of the numbers. And unfortunately, I've come to the conclusion that it wasn't that C.J. Stroud was necessarily great in his rookie year and has since regressed to a lesser play. He's always just kind of been this level of quarterback and maybe got a little bit luckier in his rookie year. And I'll give you a few numbers and we can kick it around here. But worst quarterbacks, this was tweeted out by Scott Barrett. Worst quarterbacks by off-target throw rate. So percentage of your throws that are off-target, behind, high, low, whatever. 2023, the great year from C.J. Stroud, one of the best rookie seasons of all time. Stroud was second in the league with the second most off-target throws, behind only Bryce Young at 19.2%. Percentage, whatever, but second in the league with most off-target throws.
Oof.
So, like, we're starting from the point when we thought he was the next coming of, well, you dig into the numbers, maybe a little bit lucky. 2 seasons following that, 2024, he led the league in off-target throws. In 2025, he was, again, second behind Michael Penix in off-target throws. So you throw that into, like, his completion percentage, which was his 3 seasons, 22nd, 27th, 22nd. And then you look at bad throw percentages from other sites because they all kind of grade it differently. It tells a very similar story. Pro Football Reference on bad throw percentage has them rate 31st, 30th, and 29th in his 3 seasons. So when you dig into the numbers, I kind of believe that this is a situation where C.J. Stroud, because the league hadn't seen him play, they hadn't seen a Bobby Sloak offense, they hadn't seen a DeMeco Ryans-led team, was unprepared for what they would see from C.J. Stroud. And once the league adjusted, and have caught up to him a little bit, they've kind of exposed who the real C.J. Stroud is.
I mean, yeah, because we always talk about that in the NFL. Like, your rookie season is, what's the term? Not an X factor, but it's just you don't know who you're going up against. So obviously, like, you can make adjustments like following the second year. But I think to your point, I think he had a great rookie season because he was a rookie. If he was a second or third year player putting up those stats, we'd be like, oh, this guy's mid. But
I would push back on that. Like, his stats were still pretty good. Like, he was, I think, second in the league in passing yards behind Tua, at least yards per game, and then he was like, I think, only 5 interceptions. So he was.
No, I'm not like, by no means am I saying it was a bad season. I think it just, looking back now, I think that it was inflated because he was a rookie. If he had been in the year,
we would have graded him more harshly. Is what you're saying.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm. Yeah.
I think in general, the rookie year, the expectations are so low.
For sure.
I mean, going into that season, it was like, this is the worst weapons in the league around C.J. Stroud. Offensive line, no one really believed in, and Bobby Slowick, a guy who never called a play in the NFL before. So I think he was just starting with such low expectations that him pulling out like a year that he's more or less had 3 times, but the first time you see it with all that's, was seemingly stacked against him on a terrible team, a franchise that had been irrelevant for 3 years. It's like, whoa, look at this. He's doing that, throwing to Noah Thomas and Robert Woods and Nico Collins, who we didn't know was Nico effing Collins at that point.
And rookie Tank Dell.
Yeah, and rookie Tank Dell. Devin Singletary was the starting.
So sure was.
It was like a kind of a island of misfit toys, group around him that you're like, wow, look what he's doing with these guys. It's really the next year when it's like, well, then they go out and they trade for Stephon Diggs. They're going to be this high-flying offense with Diggs, Collins, and Tank. And then he just kind of had the same season, probably a little bit worse, especially just the in-result stuff. Like you're saying with the, off-target throw percentage stuff.
Yeah, off-target throw percentage.
It didn't really manifest itself its rookie year in the interception total. The interception total is really
only
low.
5.
And then the years after that, I think it was 12 and 8. So
yeah, sounds right.
So it's something where it's like that was just so the most superficial stat was so like, wow, that's impressive. Whatever, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, as opposed to now where he's throwing about the same amount of inaccurate passes. It's just that 4 more of them are getting caught per year.
Yeah,
it's so weird though, because it's like the more weapons he gets, he has somehow digressed. Like it's a really weird.
Yeah, I mean,
thing to think about when it comes to CJ.
Last year, the offensive line was just such a killer for you that I felt like it negated any gain that you got from having. I mean, Diggs, who got hurt, by the way, after 7 games.
Well, that was the part of it. Like, I think there's only 4 games that Nico, Tank, and Diggs played together.
Yeah. So the weapon stuff, when you're looking at the depth chart in the season, you're like, yeah, these weapons are way better. But like you said, at the end of the day, you actually didn't get to play with all those weapons, and the offensive line last year was worse than we thought.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of excuses you can make for C.J. Stroud, and I think that last year they were completely valid with what we just mentioned, with easily the worst offensive line that he had amongst the 3 seasons he's been with the Texans. And then you have this beautiful set of receivers, and you got them for a total of 4 games because Nico goes out in week 5 with the hamstring injury. And by the time he gets back, Diggs is out for the year. And then once he returns, Tank leaves for the season a few weeks later with that Jared Wayne run in the Kansas City game. So, so there aren't excuses to make for him. But I think so much was put on, especially early when he had that streak of not throwing interception. Everyone was over the moon, and hyping him up because of how accurate he was. Which, look, he was pretty accurate at times. At least we thought so. The numbers of interceptions told us, but once you dig in, it tells a different story. And I remember during those early weeks of that run of not throwing interceptions, we were having conversations okay, still didn't throw an interception, but he threw 2 to. I remember the Falcons game in particular his rookie year. He threw 2 right to a safety that the dude just dropped. Not to quote. I'm sorry for quoting Brock Osweiler here, but every interception has a story, and I think there is something to that with CJ. Okay, he only threw 5 interceptions his rookie year, but if we're honest, probably should have thrown 12. And if he throws 12, then it starts to look a whole lot like what's happened the last 2 years. I think he's a good quarterback. but whether you look at completion percentage or off-target throws or bad throws, like he's been a bottom-tier quarterback in those stats, those accuracy stats, those stats that show decision-making all 3 seasons. Nothing's improved.
Yeah.
Nothing's gotten better.
Well, and like let's also look at the fact, he threw 4 less interceptions than he did last year. He also missed 3 games. So
Yeah,
he could very well have thrown 12 or 13 interceptions this year.
He threw 4.5 against New England. He could have knocked it out. He could have knocked it out quickly.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think that the rookie year had us thinking that he was a quarterback in the league where it's like it doesn't matter what you put around him, like he's gonna be good. And what we've learned the last 2 years is that he's more of the dependent talent. You know, he's less of a Josh Allen, more of a Jared Goff type of guy where it's like, when it's all good around him, like he can elevate and he can match that level of a high-flying offense. But you kind of need all the pieces to be firing. He's not a guy who it's like him alone can make a good passing offense. Like he is not at that level where there's, frankly,
it's
like
weird.
5
It's
guys in the league at
what
that
do we
level.
even label him as? Because like
A game manager?
I would say game manager, but obviously he's shown that
Yeah.
he cannot
He can
manage
be-
a
he
lot
can
of
be a-
games.
Yeah.
He's with win with, not because.
Yeah, he's a win-with guy for sure. I think that's a fair way to.
Interesting label.
You win with them, but not because of them.
Sometimes in spite of him,
Yeah.
but in the case of the Pittsburgh game. But, more often than not, I'd say he's a win-with guy. But it's funny, like you mentioned Nico and Tank, like we were having that conversation his rookie year of, I think you mentioned earlier in this segment where we were talking about like, oh, man, C.J. Stroud's coming into one of the worst offensive skill rooms like in recent history. And we gave C.J. all the credit in the world for elevating Nico, elevating Tank Dell, like with some hindsight, with some time to look back, like, I think Nico and Tank were elevating CJ.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was one of the first bullpens we did in 2023 when like the Madden ratings came out.
Yes,
and I was like, all these guys are 73s. Like, you just have a whole bunch of 73 overall receivers that first year because, like we said, it was a bunch of unknowns and journeymen basically. And what we learned was that actually, Nico Collins is top 10 receiver in the NFL, probably closer to 5 than he is 10. As far as receivers in the NFL, and Tank Dell, like, really, I'm most interested just to kind of like spin this to 2026. I'm really interested in Tank Dell next year. He might be like the most interesting Texan for me, just because I want to know what he still has, like how he can recover from that injury he had in Kansas City,
which wasn't just a simple ACL tear.
No,
it was like everything in his knee exploded.
It was like once a month. For 3 months he had to get a new surgery to like fix a new ligament. I'm really interested in what he can do, and B, a lot of the on-off stuff from CJ's first 2 years. It's like, well, when Tank Dell's playing, he's a good quarterback. When he doesn't play, he struggles more. I do wonder, like, if you get Tank Dell, even 85% of Tank Dell for next season, like, does that help CJ Stroud, regain some of that form?
Can we tease the idea that
Sure.
Case Keenum leaving was a huge factor?
Coming from a man that graduated from the University of Houston.
But let's be realistic. I mean, CJ,
are we being realistic?
Out of his 3 years, his best year was his rookie year when Case Keenum was essentially a backup quarterback and coach, and then he leaves.
I think you're taking 1 + 1 and getting 3 here, Cam.
It's correlation, not causation.
I think there's. All right.
No,
what I will tease.
Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Case Keenum goes to Chicago
All right.
and look at Caleb Williams.
Yes. All right. The Cougars section of the show is brought to you by Cam Smith and Jeremy Branham.
I'm pretty sure
Spirit.
I'm pretty sure Case Keenum was at the U of H game today. I think I saw.
And the Cougs won.
Yeah.
See?
I'm telling you.
Causation, not correlate. Anyway, all right. What I will tease into the break is there's been a few people, and we'll carry this C.J. Stroud conversation over a little bit. If you want to get in on that conversation, we can still take calls, but text probably a little bit better today with the noise here at Tom's Watch Bar. HRMP listener line, of course, 713-780-3776. But if you want to get in on the C.J. Stroud conversation, please make sure to do so. We'll also have a big question for you that we'll let you in on a little bit later here in the show. But coming back from the break, we're going to talk about this ESPN prediction on a C.J. Stroud contract extension that they're talking about this offseason. And maybe an argument with a quarterback in the Super Bowl that people are pointing to for C.J. Stroud that I think is a little misguided. That when the Bullpen returns, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 97.9 HD2 live at Tom's Watch Bar.
You're listening to The Bullpen
on ESPN 97.5 and 97.9 HD2.
Broadcasting live from the mobile Huntington Bank Studios, located at Tom's Watch Bar. Here's Brian McDonald and Sean Mapes.
Brian McDonald, Sean Mapes, and Cam Smith back here on The Bullpen live on ESPN Radio 97.5 and 97.9 HD2. Live from Tom's Watch Bar, a rowdy Tom's Watch Bar, which is packed ahead of tonight's Rockets versus Mavericks game. Literally within walking distance for the Toyota Center. Game starts at 7:30. We're on until 7. So come out here and join us and then walk over with the crowd to the game. Rally Up H-Town, Tom's Watch Bar, Red Nation rallies at Green Street fired up 2 hours before tip-off with DJs, giveaways, themed cocktails, and more. Head to the game park free with Tom's Validation and then come back for post-game drinks and watch the highlights on 65-plus screens. Get the schedule at tomswatchbar.com, Red Nation rallies. And Cam, not only is this a great sports bar with 65-plus TVs, you're with walking distance to the Toyota Center, you can park free Green Street, but they also got some great food. What have you been munching on during the break?
I am grubbing on the chicken fried sandwich with the tater tots.
Yeah, got a little cheese, got a little bacon, I see.
And I will say it's pretty on point. I love like chicken fried sandwiches.
Sure.
But adding like the bacon to it,
yeah,
especially like this hearty size piece of bacon, like
it looks thick.
It's
2 C's.
That's what you said. No,
wow. Way to make that dirty, Cam. I was talking about bacon. What are you talking about?
Bacon too. But no, it's to be honest, the multiple times I've been here, I've always gotten like a different food item,
sure.
And I don't think there's any one that I would say
I
didn't like.
I got the chicken and waffles last time we were here. That was great. And today I got the fried shrimp, was also really good. So
and they give you a lot of fried shrimp.
Dude, I was not expecting.
I keep saying that, but my lord.
Yeah, this was not like some eight shrimp. No, it's like 8 times 3 at least.
Yeah. They hooked you up like Long John Silver's, just better quality.
But way better quality. Yes, thank you for.
Yeah, I knew how to.
Easy on the Long John Silver's references today, Cam.
I knew how to throw that one in there.
All right, so we'll be out here till 7 again, leading up until Rockets Mavericks tonight at 7:30 on ABC tonight. So you got the national crowd and inside the NBA coming up after the Rockets game. So teasing our big question coming up here. We'll do it in the next hour. It's Rockets related. We will get into the Rockets conversation towards the end of this hour as well. But a couple of big questions for you here, Rockets related. If you want to weigh in, get on the conversation, hit us up on the HRP listener line. Text probably the better preference today because of the crowd here, but we can take your calls as well. It's 713-780-3776 to get at us on the HRP listener line. But my big questions, and Cam and Sean will have their answers coming up too, but what trade in Rocket franchise history would you most want to undo? That is question one. When I mentioned this to Cam, he said something popped up right away, so I'm eager to see what he says about that. And then who is your all-time favorite Rockets starting five? Now, this isn't what I hope people do with this is not just say the best five players in Rockets history, but more a blend of good players but also fan favorites.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this
just
is
your favorite starting five.
But this is build your own, not like
Build
an
your
actual
own.
five
Yes,
that started
yes.
together.
Yeah, you don't
Okay.
have to name it for one specific
Okay,
year.
gotcha.
You're exactly right. All right,
2011 is off the table then.
2011.
Sorry, Luis Scola and Kevin Martin.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see.
If anyone has Kevin Martin on their all-time
We'll
lineup,
see.
I think we'll have
Sean.
some problems.
Maybe somebody has Stromile Swift.
That's a good call.
No,
That's a good call.
he played like a.
I don't know if he ever
can't say the
started.
word.
I will say I love Stromile Swift for his aggressiveness. I love him even more
I
because
don't know if he had aggressiveness.
I played in an NBA 2K tournament.
Okay.
He was a
And
great 2K guy.
Stromile Swift made a 17-foot mid-range jumper with 1 second left for me to win, and I cannot tell you how furious the guy was that I was playing against because Stromile Swift has literally
He has
never
no jump
made
shot. He has no jump
a mid-range
shot.
jumper
Yeah.
in his entire life.
Yeah, no, I would have been with the opponent that you played in that 2K game and probably breaking my controller if you hit a 17-foot game winner with
Oh, yeah,
Stromile
for
Swift on it.
$300, I
NBA.
would be pissed,
The,
too.
the, the
2K6.
only equivalent I could tell you that matches that for me, I was playing a buddy once, so this is going to go back a ways, but at MVP baseball, I think it was 2005.
Oh, my.
And we were playing some game that was like 1-1, 18 innings, right? He hits a walk-off on me with David Eckstein.
Oh.
David bleeping Eckstein, the dude hits one home run a year in real life, and he hit a walk-off 18th inning home run against me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
I
I did not play that game for a while.
That's like Brad Osmus and Chris Burke against the Braves.
No, worse.
Like,
I
what?
think it's worse. I think it's much worse. All right, getting back into the Texans conversation. We'll get into Rockets in a little bit. Mount Rushmore +1 if Tom's Watch Bar is ready for this at 6:30. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But continuing the Stroud conversation from last segment where we're talking about how the numbers don't really show that he's regressed from his rookie year, but more so he's always just been this player, and it's more kind of a return to his mean, a regression to his mean, than it is him regressing to a lesser level of play. I've seen some other people online, guys, point to Sam Darnold. Like, have patience. Sam Darnold, obviously drafted by the Jets, saw ghosts, didn't go well, gets traded to Carolina, goes to San Francisco, goes to Minnesota. Now he's in the Super Bowl with Seattle. Kind of pointing to, like, Sam Darnold, I believe, was also the 3rd overall pick, C.J. Stroud's 2nd overall pick. And, like, sometimes with these guys, it's not on the one-year timeline. It may take 5-6 years like it did, or I guess in the case of Sam Darnold, like 7-8 years. But, like, the reason I think he was 2018 draft.
Yeah,
so
like
so
six,
no,
7 years?
no, Sean.
20,
Sean,
24,
no,
6 years after.
no, Sean, bad.
2025.
No,
it's
it's 7-8, Sean.
6-7.
No, 2018 to 2025 is 7, Sean. Don't do it. You're wrong. I digress.
6-7.
Thank you, Mackenzie. The service here at Tom's Watch Bar is great, by the way. Mackenzie's a great
Better than I deserve.
Yes, well, clearly from the nonsense you just pulled. But people keep pointing to Sam Darnold as if to say there should be a level of patience with C.J. Stroud, which I get to a certain degree. But where I think that comparison completely falls apart, unfortunately for the Texans' sake, is Sam Darnold's career was turned around how? He got paired up with Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. That kind of started the ball rolling downhill. Then he moves to Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell. Are we picking up on a trend? Elite offensive minds. He then moves to Seattle, where he's got Clint Kubiak as his offensive coordinator, who's about to get either the Raiders or the Cardinals job as soon as their season is over here next week. We're talking about elite offensive minds that were responsible, I would say, mostly, not trying to take away all credit from Sam Darnold because he still has to make the throws. But Sam Darnold was turned around because he got paired up again. Kyle Shanahan, Kevin O'Connell, two of the top 5 offensive minds in the game outside of like Sean McVay, and then plus Clint Kubiak, a young up-and-comer who's about to get one of the remaining coaching vacancies in the league. C.J. Stroud, unfortunately, will not have that as at his disposal. So if you're going to point towards Sam Darnold as a path for C.J. Stroud's resurgence, I think you're going to be sorely disappointed because, think what you want about Nick Haley. He ain't Kevin O'Connell or Kyle Shanahan.
And Sam Darnold also had to, like, walk the wilderness there even before
Carolina,
it get to that point. Yeah, he had a Jets year. He had one Jets year, like, basically after everyone was like, yeah, we're kind of done with you.
After he started seeing ghosts?
Yes, and then he had what was it, 1 year in Carolina?
I think
or
it was 1 year in Carolina.
Yeah, so
he and Baker were both there.
There's a little bit of like,
Yep.
Like if C.J. Stroud has the Sam Darnold career, if anyone has the Sam Darnold career, chances are it won't be with the team that drafted him.
Yeah,
that's
the other
that's
point
a
of it.
key part to the Sam Darnold
It's
story.
like his 5th team before he got to the Super Bowl.
It's very similar to Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
But the thing
But
is,
again, same path. Like eventually, Baker Mayfield got what happened to him? He went to L.A. where he got Sean McVay. And, oh, by the way, who was the OC there? Liam Cohen, who he then hooked up with again in Tampa Bay.
But here's the only difference
Sean, settle down.
between Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. They both started on real crap-ass teams, the Jets and the Browns.
Yeah.
CJ, yes, the Texans were bad a couple years previous to him, but not to the level of the Jets and the Browns.
Well, they'd won 7 games in 2 years prior to him getting there.
But they did completely revamp it.
Yeah.
It's like
they did.
You're going to ask anybody where they'd rather go: Jets, Browns, Texans.
No, for sure.
It's going to be the Texans.
Yeah,
so, like
for
the
sure.
fact that Darnold and Baker had to start with the Jets and Browns, and then elevated to where they are now, I feel like that's a little different than CJ.
Yeah, I just think the Sam Darnold, like, you could be the next Sam Darnold thing is like, it's because he made the Super Bowl. Like, it is just because he made the. No one's sitting here being like, oh yeah, this guy can be. The thing, what makes Sam Darnold so incredible is that it's pretty unprecedented that he actually did this.
That a guy goes to his 5th team
was
and
a
then
giant
makes the Super
bust.
Bowl. Yeah.
Okay, but still, like he showed out in Minnesota, so like we
Yeah.
can't sit here and be like it's a 1-year fluke. Like I
No,
feel like
but it took him 6 seasons till he got to
true,
Minnesota.
but that's why I think it's.
And last year people like
He
their
fell
season
apart at the
ended
end.
because he imploded the last 2 games of the season. So this is really, I mean, the NFC Championship game especially, because not only did they win with Sam Darnold quarterbacking their team, Sam Darnold's balling out in that NFC
He
Championship
outplayed
game.
Matt Stafford.
Like it definitely shows that like it's not obviously where you're drafted number-wise is important, but it also like goes to show that like it's also where you're drafted by.
Yeah,
It's
the
quarterback.
organization.
It's situation you're
Yeah,
surrounded
the
with,
organization
100%.
is so important.
Yeah, I think that's one of the more underrated things that we don't discuss when talking about like when QBs fail or succeed is like what the situation they're put in there. Like now, some quarterbacks are just so talented that they can overcome bad situations, but it's certainly a big difference when you actually surround them with talent. All right, we will tease this to break because we got a little caught up there at the beginning of the segment. But there's an ESPN prediction out, guys, on C.J. Stroud's next contract. We'll tell you what that is when we get back and kick it around if the Texans should even remotely consider it. That from when the bullpen returns in a couple minutes, live from Tom's Watch Bar, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 97.9 HD2.
This is the Bullpen,
On ESPN 97.5 and the ESPN Houston app.
broadcasting live from the mobile Huntington Bank Studios, located at Tom's Watch Bar. Here's Brian McDonald and Sean Mapes.
All right, welcome back into the show. Bullpen live from Tom's Watch Bar downtown. Myself, Brian McDonald, Cam Smith, and Sean Mapes. We will be here until 7 o'clock, leading you right up to tip-off at 7:30 between the Rockets and Mavericks, which is just walking distance from where we're sitting at Tom's Watch Bar to the Toyota Center. So just a reminder, this is a great place, obviously on Rocket home game days, but really any time of the year. Super Bowl, I'd come out here. March Madness, I'd definitely come out here. There's 65-plus televisions here, but you can watch the home team basketball game anywhere, but there's only one place where the rally starts. Introducing Tom's Watch Bar Red Nation Rallies at Green Street, your new Friday and Saturday home game day destination. 2 hours before tip-off, Tom's comes alive. I can verify that this place is packed. Uppercase P there. With live DJs, team swag giveaways, and themed cocktails all season long. Headed to the game, come early, park free at Green Street with Tom's Validation. Did that on my way here. And walk over with the crowd and celebrate after the game back at Tom's with post-game drinks and highlights on their 65-plus televisions here at Tom's Watch Bar. High energy, all H-Town fans. It's Red Nation Rallies at Tom's Watch Bar, presented by Green Street. Find the full schedule at tomswatchbar.com/Red Nation Rallies. So, fellas, I teased going into the break the contract offer that's not been made, but the ESPN is in the kind of a
projection.
Yes, yeah. I should have phrased that differently as to not panic everyone out there in the Texan streets out there on Kirby. But so ESPN did an article with their guesses on some contract they think will get handed out this offseason. And they had two for the Texans. Will Anderson, I think, we'll start there because I think it's just, okay, cool. Move on to the next one.
How much, Mr. Anderson?
4 years, $176 million with $121 guaranteed. So that's looking like $44 million per year, which is, I think, just a tad under what Micah Parsons got paid.
No, he could get more.
But
I would take the over on that.
If Will Anderson's contract or agent comes to you and says, this is what we want, I said, cool, next.
Yeah, deal.
Meeting over.
Yeah.
Meeting over.
I mean,
no objection from you guys?
None at all.
No.
If anything, I would want new representation if I'm Will Anderson.
Yeah, especially since you traded so much to move up and get him.
I really think Will could get 50 if you wanted it.
Yeah, or at least like between 50 and 45, because I think the highest is around 45.
This defense without him is still really good, but it's not like elite. Yeah. Like we're talking about.
It's not
this
in the conversations of best defenses we've seen in the last generation like it was with him. Right. All right. So this is where it gets complicated, and where I think we're all going to be probably way, way out. But ESPN's prediction for a contract extension they think will happen this offseason between the Texans and C.J. Stroud is, Sean, you may want to stop drinking before I say these numbers. I don't want you to spit your great beer out here at Tom's Watch Bar. You good?
I'm
You're
good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Sean, by the
all over Anthony.
Sean, by the way, going 40 ounces to freedom today.
Yes.
That's a big beer that he's got here. I think Sam took a picture. It might be up on social media. But the contract extension they're predicting for C.J. Stroud from the Houston Texans, 4 years. Okay, that part's fine. Should we stop there? Should we stop there? 4 years, cool.
Right. Even that, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so. Here's the part where it gets a little ugly. 4 years, $224 million with $110 million guaranteed. Do the quick math. That is $56 million per year, which I believe will put him only behind Dak Prescott, who gets paid $60 million per year, and put him just above a group of quarterbacks at $55 per year, which includes Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, and a few others. That would obviously be more than Patrick Mahomes, who is on a sweetheart deal, getting $45 million per year, and I believe would be above. I believe it's right. I believe it's above still Herbert and Burrow as well.
Yeah,
but
it's in that range.
But Burrow and Herbert might be the only two that would be above that, besides besides Dak Prescott.
Understandable.
But Cam, what comes as a fan of a team who paid their quarterback? Herbert is in that group
Herbert's
around
in that,
$55-56 million range. What do you think of this potential offer that ESPN puts out there of $56 million a year for 4 years to C.J. Stroud?
Laughable. pick up on that.
I got your take from that.
I mean, this is the problem. As the years go on in the NFL, quarterbacks are getting paid more and more and more, regardless of if they deserve it or not. So, like, I think he's going to get
Tua and Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah. Do I think he's going to get it? There's a good chance. Does he deserve it? Absolutely not. $50-something million.
56 a year. See, now
No.
I think the pushback, and I'm with you. I would not pay him this either. Spoiler alert. But I think the pushback to what you said would be based upon the first thing that you said was, like, the contracts keep going up year per year per year. So the pushback would be, well, if you pay him, quote-unquote, top of the market now, I know Dak Prescott's technically the top of the market, but it'd be near the top of the market.
Yeah.
If you pay him top of the market now, that is a savings as to what top of the market would be 2 years from now. If C.J. Stroud goes out there and has you make him wait, you make him play the fifth year option, then you do it. You'd save money by doing this deal now versus doing it 2 years from now.
No, I get your no, and that's a very valid point. Like, I get that 100%, but even though you're technically would be saving money now, you're still giving him, I think, more money than he deserves.
Yeah, it's still an overpay.
Now, like, it just do something next year, and if your fourth year is better than, it doesn't even have to be better than your rookie season, but if your fourth year you're better than your second and third year, and you don't fumble in the playoffs, okay, then you have more of an argument to get that contract. But as of now, I think that'd be asinine for the Texans to do that.
Yeah, it's a thing where you go like, well, Tua got that deal. Well, Trevor Lawrence before this
That'll
year
be Mulligat's argument.
Justin Herbert, who doesn't have the playoff success that CJ does, got that. Yeah, hey, they both got a 4-interception game in the playoffs under their belt. Yeah, but those teams, maybe not Herbert, because I think Herbert in the regular season actually is good. But, yeah, just because those teams made mistakes doesn't mean that you do too. Like, just because those guys overpaid their quarterbacks doesn't mean that you have to overpay your quarterback. This is where what if C.J. Stroud is Sam Darnold? Like, well, if he is, then he signs a $30 million per year deal. The thing is, Darnold, Baker, and Geno Smith, which it didn't really work out for Geno Smith this year, those guys signed the $30 million per year quarterback. Like, hey, this is actually a pretty good deal, considering how good they actually are. This is pretty close to market value. The thing is, all those guys are on their third and fourth teams. Like, you don't get the, hey, we drafted you 2 overall. We think you are a starting quarterback in the league. You might not be a franchise guy like Lamar and Josh Allen, but hey, we really like you. Here's $35 million per year to re-up. Like, no one signs that deal. You only sign that deal when you have to. And so that's why I think C.J. Stroud either will not sign a new deal with the Texans, or it will be something like ESPN says, where it's $50-something million per year.
And, like, to the Trevor Lawrence thing, like, I think we could all sit here and be like, oh, that was crazy that they gave him that extension, because he's not the guy that they thought he was was out of Clemson. Mm-hmm. But then they bring in the right coach.
Yeah,
and
he
Trevor
played like
Lawrence
it this year.
arguably has his best season ever under the right coach and the right environment. So it's just, that's also the other thing too. Like, if you part ways with CJ, you're essentially saying you're starting over.
Yeah.
Well, you're kind of stuck in the quarterback purgatory that Pittsburgh's been stuck in post-Ben Roethlisberger, because I don't think under D'Amico, with the defense that he puts out there, they're ever going to be bad enough, even if they they punt C.J. Stroud to the curb like Baxter and start over at quarterback. They're never going to be bad enough to be near the top of the draft to select their next quarterback. Sean liked that reference. But you're going to be stuck in basically kind of like what the Colts did really they're still doing. I mean, they went to Phillip Rivers, they went to Matt Ryan, they went to Carson Wentz, they're now with Daniel Jones. Now they went back to Phillip Rivers, even at age 45. Like, that's where the Texans would be, because they wouldn't be bad enough to draft their next quarterback. So I get why the possibility of that is enough to make some fans like, well, I'll take what I know over the unknown. But, like, to me, like, even the idea of, well, it's going to save now versus what you would pay the quarterback in 2 years. Okay, save what? You're going to pay him, like, the projection's $56 million per year. What are you paying him 2 years from now? $59? Like, I'm not letting up savings of $3 million per year force me into potentially a franchise altering contract.
Yeah. And like if you're going to pay him, let's say, hey, get a deal in early, you're paying him the 55 right now. That is still an overpay. So it doesn't matter that it is cheaper than if you were to wait and sign him to you're still overpaying him. Like it's a to me it seems like such an obvious thing. It's like he seems like he should be a quarterback that makes $35 million per year. The thing is, those guys don't sign that deal. Like that's not anyone's second contract in the NFL. Is a $35 million starting quarterback salary. Like you need to fail and then play well to then get that contract.
Yeah.
You don't get that contract, off your rookie deal from the team that drafted you.
It's an odd situation because everything that like you're saying and we're all saying is like, yeah, CJ is not going to be like take a journeyman's contract.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's also not. The Texans don't owe him anything. Like
no, but the Mulligeta aspect of it creates a different dynamic. I think it's perfectly reasonable to say like C.J. Stroud has no leverage in a negotiation coming off 2 historically bad playoff games, but I still think Mulligeta is going to put the pressure on. Like we've seen him get guys moved off of teams more than. I mean, he did in this city with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
So like it's. I think it creates a different dynamic considering who his representation is.
No, that's very fair. And like he's obviously gonna use the argument of, oh, well, this is one of the rare guys that in their first 3 years went to the playoffs and was technically, won at least 3 games.
Wasn't there a stat where it was only him and John Elway that we were talking about in the regular season? Like I think it was most wins from a quarterback picked 1 or 2 in his first 3 seasons.
Yeah. And I hate being the guy that's like, okay, I hate being the guy that's like, look at the division. But let's look at the division. I mean, the last couple of years.
I mean, this year was pretty good.
This year was pretty good, but it's just like 3 years ago, the Colts were trash. Jacksonville was trash. No,
they won,
Tennessee was trash.
They went 10-7 and won the division each of the previous 3 years. And last year won it like pretty easily at 10-7.
It's like if you throw CJ in like a super competitive division like the AFC West or
NFC West.
NFC West, like, is he making the playoffs 3 years in a row? I don't.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't think so. So, and none of those teams have an historically elite defense either. So, I don't know.
I think it all just boils down to like he's a win-with guy, not a win-because guy.
Yeah.
He's a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's not a franchise guy in the league. And starting quarterback in the NFL just is not worth $55 million.
No.
Those are the franchise guys. But a lot of guys that are only starting quarterbacks get that money because of what we're talking about right now, where it's like, what else are you going to do? Like
literally, what else?
Like, all right, then you're back on the, 2010s Bill O'Brien pre-Deshaun Watson carousel of like stopgap quarterbacks.
I think they got to take that risk. You have
find their Brian Hoyer is what you're saying.
They already have him, Davis Mills,
who lost 30 to
C.J. Stroud.
Hey, they have 2 of them.
I saw a guy throw a bunch of interceptions in the playoff game before.
Yeah, I mean, we did see that. C.J. Stroud pulled a Brian Hoyer. Shout out to the 2015 Texans in that Watt-cap play. Salute. But look, I mean, the Texans, if they wanted to play this out fully, have C.J. Stroud under team control for 4 more seasons. Like he's got next year will be his 4th year. He has the 5th year team option, and then he'd have 2 potential years of a quarterback franchise tag. Which, look, we've seen that happen with Dak Prescott. We saw that happen with Kirk Cousins. That gets pricey. It's not necessarily the road I'd want the Texans to go down, but I'd rather risk that than being locked into basically becoming the Dolphins. Like, how do Dolphins fans feel right now looking at a team that is over the hill, missing the playoffs, and is hamstrung by a quarterback being massively overpaid?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was like, look at Dallas, Miami. They're handcuffed by what they get. Look,
at least Dak's
I think Dak is better than CJ, but those teams were still handcuffed by the contracts that they gave their quarterbacks.
Yeah,
so
Miami's either going to have to eat the money or just have to I guess he's our starter for one more year.
I mean, we'll throw another
Kyler
team.
Murray.
Kyler Murray, another similar situation.
Yeah, and it's something with Tua, with Kyler, like you kind of find out early too. Like it's not even a situation where it's the last year of that contract kind of gets ugly. It's like, no, really, like the first 2 years, you're already like, I don't like this.
Well, think about it. Let's play this out, and I know we'll get to break here pretty soon after that. But let's say the Texans hypothetically did get this contract, and he's making $56 million per year, and he has basically the same season that he's had his last 2 seasons. How much of a conversation are we having about like the massive amount that he's being overpaid?
Yeah,
like there'd be no grace period. All this talk of be patient. Sam Darnold took 7 years. Like it goes out the window if you pay this dude $56 million.
Yeah, I was gonna ask basically the inverse of that question of what if you don't pay him and he just has the same year again?
Well,
then where are you at?
Then you're feeling good because that contract comes down. Like if he goes out and has the same season again, or we're talking about 3 mid-win with not because years, the contract comes down for $56 million. So I think it plays on the Texans' favor. Like the only negative for the Texans is potentially waiting a couple years and paying them $59 per year instead of paying them $56.
Yes, and
I can live with that.
And
I can't live with paying him $56 if he's worth $30.
And if he plays well enough that you are giving him the $59 million.
Cool. It means you got a great quarterback.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take that risk of like, well, we might have to pay him more. What if he balls out? I want to see him ball out.
Yeah,
Let's see that.
Exactly. From 4-8-1-8, it's sad that we are in this situation at quarterback after Stroud's rookie season. I would pay that C.J. Stroud, but not the C.J. we have today.
Yeah.
You have to wait and see how he does this upcoming season or think about trading him next offseason. Yeah, I mean, I share the sentiments there with the texter. Rack him. And we'll have to get out here. We're a little bit over. We got hyped up because it's a hype atmosphere right now at Tom's Watch Bar ahead of Rockets versus Mavs at 7:30 tonight, national TV on ABC. Coming back on the other side of the break, we're going to talk about some of the winners and losers from the NFL head coaching carousel and also maybe give a prediction on the Super Bowl as well. That when the Bullpen returns on ESPN 97.5 and 97.9 HD2.
It's the Bullpen.
On ESPN 97.5 and the ESPN Houston app.
Broadcasting live from the mobile Huntington Bank Studios, located at Tom's Watch Bar. Here's Brian McDonald and Sean Mapes.
Rally up, H-Town, Tom's Watch Bar, Red Nation rallies at Green Street. Fire up 2 hours before tip-off with DJs, giveaways, themed cocktails, and more all season long. Headed to the game, park free with Tom's Validation. They come back for post-game drinks and highlights on their 65-plus TV screens here at Tom's Watch Bar. Get the full schedule at tomswatchbar.com/Red Nation rallies. And I can attest to the free parking. I took advantage of that myself. They got great food. TVs everywhere, and you're within walking distance for Toyota Center, so no better place to come and hang out before and after a Rockets game. And we'll get into the Rockets next segment. Mount Rushmore +1 coming up at 6:30. And I'll tease our big questions of the day here once again before we get into them fully at 6:15. But if you have them, please text them in, 713-780-3776, the HRP listener line. But two questions. What Rocket trade in franchise history would you most like to undo? And who's your favorite, all-time favorite starting five for the Rockets? Any season. You can combo that
Create
bad boy.
your own.
Yeah, create your own. You don't have to take a stock year from one specific season. All right. Let's get into some quick NFL topics before we finish up the hour here. So we have two head coaching openings left, the Raiders and Cardinals. One of them gets Clint Kubiak. The other is LOL. I don't know. Like I'm not sure what's going on with whoever doesn't get Clint Kubiak in that.
Nobody wants to go to the Raiders.
No. Yeah, man.
Pete Carroll lasted
I think the
1
Raiders
year.
are going to have to call Pete Carroll back. Like, you busy? We can undo that. So, Brown. We all know the hirings by now. Tom Monken goes to the Browns. Robert Saleh to the Titans. Joe Brady goes to the Bills. John Harbaugh to the Giants. Mike McCarthy to the Steelers. Jeff Hafley to the Dolphins. Jesse Minter to the Ravens. And Kevin Stefanski to the Falcons. Cam, of this group that has been hired so far, who's your biggest winner in this situation, in their new situation?
That is an exceptional question, sir.
Do you want me to go to Sean right now? Seems like you need a second.
No, I really want to say Jesse Minter because of all the troubles that Baltimore's defense has had maybe the last 1 or 2 years. But they had Harbaugh, so it's just kind of like, is it a better hire?
How much are they actually improving?
It's still a good hire. I'm gonna have to say probably the Titans with Robert Saleh because let's be real, he went to the Jets. Like that was a terrible situation, and they fired him way too soon.
Okay, I'm gonna have to push back because one of my losers is the Titans with Robert Saleh. I'm sorry to go head to head right away.
I mean, I also want to make.
But sorry, I was trying to get you to pause for the drop there.
I got you. Yeah.
A little radio 101 here. But like I look at the Titans and I get it. Like I think Robert Saleh's a good coach, but like all the train wreck dumpster fire stuff with an organization that you'd say about the Jets, I think it's fair that they're the worst. But Titans are like top 4, top 5. I mean, they are the team that fired Mike Vrabel a couple years ago after making him wear a cowboy hat on the sideline. And the other reason I don't like this is, look, man. You drafted Cam Ward #1 overall. Like the future of like the next 3 to 4 years of your franchise hinge upon Cam Ward becoming a success. I'm not hiring a defensive head coach when the future of my next 3 to 4 years hinges upon a #1 overall quarterback becoming successful.
But I mean, that's what the Texans did.
Yeah, and we're talking about not wanting to pay the quarterback.
Yeah, but that's not
like,
wanting to pay the quarterback, but that's different than the head coach.
But it's not though, because I mean part of the reason. Look, I love D'Amico, and I'm excited he's here. I was glad they hired him, but part of the reason why people who were unexcited about D'Amico is because you're now putting the quarterback in a situation where if they're successful, the guy that made them successful is leaving the next year.
But
so
is that happening with Dable though?
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, that is a good counterpoint. Like, he did help turn around Josh Allen, although that was maybe more attributed, I think, to his throwing motion getting fixed. But you can also attribute that to Dayball. You can also attribute that to Stephon Diggs getting there. So
yeah, that's the one thing with the Titans where I'm like, I like the pairing. You know, like where it's like I'm kind of like, you know, they're both like a 7 hire.
Yeah.
But it's like you got 2 7 hires, and it's also you're the Titans. I'm just. You know,
you at least hired adults.
Yeah, my expectation is the dirt. So I'm like, hey, it's a big boy hire, but it's also maybe speaks to Robert Saleh, where it's like, are you really getting a job with an organization? I'm sitting here being like, congrats, you hired like an adult. Like that.
Yeah,
that is.
I'm also
that is the thing. It's like, oh, you got out of the Jets. Now you're with another, like Brian was saying, like bottom 4 organization. Like as far as ownership decision making goes, like I mean, they did the best they can. I think the Titans, if it fails, it's because the Titans failed the Titans, not because of Saleh.
Well, then, and I guess in that wording, then it's a great hire for the Titans,
but
it's
a bad,
questionable for Robert Saleh.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm more along those lines. My winner, I'm gonna go Kevin Stefanski or Falcons/Stefanski.
Sure.
I really like that. I really like. Are you done, T-Pain? I really like that pairing. I mean, you have all the weapons there. You got Robinson. You got Drake London. Kyle Pitts, Brian?
Yeah.
Post-hype sleeper next year?
Post-hype sleeper? No, I will not do it.
Another post-hype sleeper year?
I will not do it. How many post-hype sleeper seasons are we on now for Kyle Pitts?
The entire career.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you got all the pieces there. I mean, whether it is they bring back Cousins for another year while Penix gets healthy, or maybe you just have like a legit competition in August about who's your starting quarterback's going to be. I kind of like Stefanski. You know, another situation where Saleh, it's like he had to deal with the clown show of the Jets. Stefanski had to deal with the clown show of the Browns.
It was still 2-time Coach of the Year.
I was going to say, the most successful Browns coach since
Belichick
in
the mid-'90s?
Marty Schottenheimer. Like you're going back to
You're
like
going back
the
a
drive.
ways. You're going back a ways, yeah.
You're going back to when they were getting their hearts ripped out by John Elway.
Yes.
As far as how successful he was. So I think it's a good hire. Obviously, they're going to have to figure out the defense a little bit. But they drafted 2 edge rushers that are both solid. So I'm as far as teams that I'm most like, glass half full on, I'm pretty glass half full on the Falcons with who they hired.
All right. So quickly before we go to break, let's talk about one more team because I don't know where to put this one, winner or loser. What do you guys think of the Buffalo Bills promoting Joe Brady to their head coach? Because I get it, like offensive continuity, like when Joe Brady's had good quarterbacks, like when he had Joe Burrow, when he had Drew Brees in New Orleans, like he's put together good offenses. But are we really going to say like it was only Sean McDermott's fault and nobody else?
That's my problem. Is that so you fire Sean McDermott, but you promote the guy from below Sean McDermott, and you also promote the guy above Sean McDermott because Brandon Beane got promoted from
based on a lie.
Yes,
of Keon Coleman.
He got promoted from GM to president of football operations. So it's like, the only thing wrong, everyone else did a great job except for Sean McDermott. It's like, what's your answer at defensive coordinator? Then they're hiring Jim Leonard, which is interesting, but it's still like a relatively unproven, it's not like a Fangio, a Spagnuolo, like pelts on the wall defensive coordinator. It's like, okay, like we'll see. So I think they made a lot of moves, and it's funny, they made a move where it's like, yeah, if you want to fire the guy who's been super successful, like you just need to change things up. But they didn't change things up.
That's the thing. Like I get wanting continuity, but yeah, they somehow they had 2 pass in front of them, and they somehow took neither. What do you think of this Bill situation?
Did they fire McDermott? They fired him after Harbaugh, right?
Yes.
I think after Harbaugh was already hired.
Because Harbaugh had already been hired because they didn't fire him until obviously
after the division,
after the loss to the Broncos.
I know this might be a
round.
stretch, but I feel like there's some sort of correlation. It's like Baltimore was. It was almost like Mike Tomlin with Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
a lot of success,
you just kind of get
but
sick
you're
of
there.
it. Yeah.
It's like Baltimore. A lot of success with Harbaugh the last decade, but you're just like right there.
Yeah.
McDermott, a lot of success, but you're right
there. But the thing is,
then why promote from within?
No, I'm not,
the Ravens and Steelers didn't promote everybody.
I'm not saying that like the Brady hire was a great hire. Like I'm not upset with it, but I feel like McDermott was almost fired because they saw Baltimore fire Harbaugh after 19 great years, but just like this.
Stagnant. Yeah. I agree that the Harbaugh firing, the Tomlin mutual parting of ways, the team that we're talking about right now, the Bills firing McDermott. I think all those firings are understandable. I think Minter, I like the best out of the hires. McCarthy, all right, sure. And Joe
McCarthy's
Brady.
a big LOL.
Like, it's the hires that I have a problem with, not the firings.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. All right, we're overdue for the break. When we get back here, we're live, of course, at Tom's Watch Bar in downtown, just walking distance away from the Toyota Center, where the Rockets, of course, taking on the Mavericks tonight, 7:30 national television on ABC. So we'll talk Rockets on the other side of the break. Got to talk about the upcoming trade deadline, especially with the Rockets being down two very valuable members of the team that we thought they'd have before the season began. That when the Bullpen returns, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 97.9 HD2. Welcome back into the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5 FM, 97.9 HD2. We are live for the next hour until 7 o'clock, 30 minutes before tip-off of Rockets-Mavs from Tom's Watch Bar downtown, literally walking distance from the Toyota Center. You can see it from the windows here at Tom's Watch Bar. So great place to come out if you're going to go out to the game, or maybe you're at the game and you want to come get a drink before you go home. That great place for that as well. Tom's Watch Bar, Red Nation Rallies at Green Street, your new Friday and Saturday home game day destination. 2 hours before tip-off, Tom's comes alive with live DJs, team swag giveaways, and themed cocktails all season long. Headed to the game, come early, park free at Green Street with Tom's Validation, and walk over with the crowd. Then celebrate after the game back at Tom's with post-game drinks and highlights on their 65-plus televisions. It's the Red Nation Rallies at Tom's Watch Bar presented by Green Street. Find the full schedule at tomswatchbar.com/Red Nation Rallies. And a reminder, if you want to weigh in on our big questions of the day, we'll get to that in the next segment. Those, of course, being Rockets themed with the big game tonight, the I-45 rivalry. What Rocket trade in franchise history would you most want to undo? You can send us a text on that, 713-780-3776. You can also hit up the HRP listener line if you have an answer to what is your favorite Rockets starting five of all time. Not one specific year. You can mix and match. You can draft your own. But put that starting five together and hit us up again on the HRP listener line, 713-780-3776, and we'll get to those answers in the next segment. So, fellas, Rockets pick up a bounce-back win against the Hawks a couple nights ago. Nice to see because, boy, that second half of the third quarter and fourth quarter against the Spurs was rough. Look, I don't know where to go with this season because, I mean, overall, they're still top 4 in the West. Although, as crowded as the West is, they're top 4, but you're also like a half game above like 7th.
Yeah,
so
you're basically 2 games away from being the 2 seed and also 2 games away from being the 7th seed.
But from having to play in the play-in.
Yeah.
So, like, top 4 seed is great, but it's a pretty tenuous situation there in the West right now with the talent and depth of that part of the NBA. 7-3 in their last 10, but it just feels like this season has kind of been, I don't know, I hate to say curse because it feels like you can't undo that. But here we are going into the trade deadline being about a week away, plus the All-Star break a few weeks after that. And the Rockets are without 2 of their 6 best players from when they started the season, with Steven Adams joining Fred VanVleet on the injury list at the end of the year. Although Fred VanVleet keeps talking about coming back. I don't believe it.
Yeah, believe it when I see it.
Yeah, so Sean, I'll start with you. Like, a lot of that, obviously, the expectations for the season were obviously extremely high coming off a season where they got back over 50 wins for the first time in what feels like forever and made the playoffs, losing in 7 games to the Warriors. They add Kevin Durant to the mix, ship out Jalen Green, and it's kind of been the same result in the standings, although that team finished second in the West last year. But what has been your overall impression with the team so far?
Yeah, it is a little bit of what you're saying where it's kind of you have higher expectations and you get like pretty similar results, and it's more disappointing than it was last year. Where,
yeah, exactly.
Where it's like, this is actually kind of about where they were this time last year, including like having a kind of bumpy January as well. Like there is a lot of similarities. I think, part of it is that you didn't just trade Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks for Kevin Durant. You also kind of traded Fred VanVleet because you haven't had him either when you're comparing last year to this year. So, yeah, I think what you brought up is a good point where it feels like they are, like you said, 7-3 in their last 10 games, but 2 of those losses were like ones that just make you feel gross and you want to take a shower afterwards.
Sixers lost.
The Sixers and the Spurs losses where you're just like,
because
they
had a 14-point lead against the Spurs.
Yeah,
and that was first half, but even the second half, I think it was
like
as high
10,
as 11 or 11 or 12. So.
Yeah, in the third quarter, and then against the Sixers, I think they were up 6 with 3 minutes left, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's 2 like disgusting losses. And kind of taking care of business,
which makes you forget
else.
about good wins against the Pistons. So
they beat the number 2 team in the league, and
so
it gets forgotten.
So Cam, given all that's happened so far this season, now factoring in the injury to Steven Adams being added to Fred VanVleet, where do you view this current team's ceiling as they stand before the All-Star break?
That's a good question. I mean,
man, I'm 2 for 2, baby.
I
know.
To be honest, unless they go get and acquire like a floor general, I think it's going to be exactly like what they are. And like to Sean's point, I think last year they over-exceeded expectations. So this year we're looking at that like, oh, well, look what they did last year. Nobody was expecting them to do that last year. And then obviously you make the move for Kevin Durant and everything's like, oh, my God, like Kevin Durant, Fred VanVleet, Jabari, Sengun. Then obviously Fred gets like hurt. And it's just – I think that's just a testament to how important Fred VanVleet is and was to this team. But, I mean, to be honest, at this point, if nothing changes with this team and this roster, it's going to be the same exact result as last year.
So you think currently as they stand, first-round exit? I didn't think. All right.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We got there. Okay.
I think they can win a playoff round. Like if they face the Lakers, like I think they can win.
Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. If the roster,
there's not really a big difference because last year they went to Game 7, so there's not really a big difference between you sneak by in Game 7 this time, but then lose in the next round.
So I would put their ceiling at probably winning
second round.
Yeah, winning one playoff series.
Yeah.
So Houston Texans divisional round loss.
Exactly. We're right there with it.
So, Sean, before we go to break, Cam mentioned, like, this team, unless they get that floor general.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's going to be the big question going into next week's trade deadline. Obviously, A lot of people talking about Colby White from the Bulls. I heard you and Joe mention Nembhard from the Pacers. I'd be pretty interested in that if the Pacers
that was my
if the Pacers decide to tear it down
Yeah.
and not just wait for Halliburton to return. But what do you see as the realistic path to the Rockets getting a point guard that would improve their current situation?
I think it would be more of like the Kobe White. I brought up Nembhard on Rocket Power just as like a
did
as a
at least make the phone call.
Yeah, as a wish list type of thing. But if the Pacers want to compete next year, like they're not going to trade Nembhard. But that kind of guy is the ideal, and I think that anyone else you're kind of sacrificing a little bit, or not sacrificing, but you're like getting better in the short term, but it's not really a piece long term. Like Kobe White is on an expiring contract, so now you have to ask the question, like, where are you going to pay him in the summer, and then is he replacing Fred VanVleet, or is he replacing more of Reed Shepherd's role on this team as like the sixth man, which when Fred comes back next year. So I think if you just view him as a rental, that's fine, but you are like just renting Kobe White at the deadline, or Ayu Dosunmu, another Chicago Bulls point guard. As far as like bare minimum, like this guy's had a terrible year, but I actually do think he would help. Lonzo Ball, don't look up his shooting numbers. It'll only disgust you.
I mean, haven't they almost – I know he's had
he's been a good
seasons.
shooter in the past.
Yeah.
This year he has a case as the worst shooter in the league right now.
Oh, boy.
And I still kind of think he would help. Because you're kind of banking on regression to the mean as far as shooting, where it's like
you would have a hard time selling me putting a shooter shooting that bad currently and putting him on the court next to Min Thompson.
Yes, that's the thing. It's like he would help with the watchability of the offense of like, okay, they can, like, teams aren't going to press him anymore because Lonzo can break the press, hit the open guy. Like, you can play a little bit faster in transition with Lonzo Ball. It is just like you had to really get over the shooting numbers, and maybe that's what makes Kobe White or Ayu Dosunmu or any one of these other point guards, Colin Sexton, another guy, where it's like those are more probably like palatable and less, I guess, volatile. But Lonzo Ball, he's on 1-year contract, has a team option for $10 million. Next year you can cut him so he's another rental kind of option.
But my thing is if you bring in like Kobe White, I feel like we're going to be in the same situation after next season. Who is our point guard? Because are we really going to give a big contract to Kobe White? No. And with Aaron from the Pacers,
Nembhard.
I see what you're saying, but if Halliburton comes back, they don't need him. Like they obviously,
well,
like
compete the East.
I mean, he's really good in the playoffs.
Yeah, but like, what do you like? If you get back something that benefits your team,
if
then
like, would you do like? It would be like something like, probably Tari Eason and Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah,
and a first-round pick.
And same thing with like Lonzo.
So now the Pacers have to be like, well, do we want a bigger wing, switchable? Has had his best shooting year, Tari Eason. More injury concern. Like, you are at least like having the Pacers make, again, like Brian said, make them say no. Like, just make the phone call.
Make the phone call. Throw it out there.
I like both those players, but I feel like after a year we're going to be in the situation of all right, who's our point guard? Lonzo's numbers percentage-wise are down, but he's an amazing point guard still. And I think that if he comes to the Rockets, then the stress of a Min trying to play point guard,
you just buy.
He goes back to a Min from last year.
Yeah, you buy a Min Thompson, you buy Reed Shepherd, like, time to figure this out. Because right now they're being pushed into roles that they weren't expected to be in.
Exactly.
This team was supposed to have Fred VanVleet on. So,
and I would much rather trade higher quality players for Lonzo Ball because I think he's worth actually re-signing for like a lengthy or like an actual contract extension.
And we'll wrap up on this. Lonzo Ball, like all the terrible shooting numbers aside, like when Cam, you say they need like a floor general for you to believe that they can win a round or two in the playoffs. Like Lonzo Ball is the cleanest fit of a floor general. Like Kobe White plays a little bit like Jalen Green. Like he is a score first.
He's a combo.
Yeah, he's a score first point guard, more of a 6-man type of guy. That would be an improvement for the Rockets, but it's not the like specific archetype that they need, and that's Lonzo.
If Lonzo can get 8 assists a game on the Hornets, I'm pretty sure he could get 10 or 11 assists on the Rockets. And that's all I need. That's all we need.
Hey, you see number 7? Or you see that guy, tall, skinny guy, looks like Kevin Durant? Yeah, just pass him the ball.
You want to shoot 40% from the field? I don't care. If you're still getting the rebounds and the assists, then I could give two craps about you shooting 30% from 3 and 45% from the field. Just run the offense. That's all I want. Just run the offense.
All right, we got to get out here. Shout out to Mackenzie, great waitress here at Tom's Watch Bar. Come out and see her and see these 65-plus televisions out here at Tom's Watch Bar. Anytime you're headed out to a Rockets game, before or after the game, open late so you can come by and watch the highlights here as well. When we get back on the other side of the break, let's get into those big questions we teased. If you do have answers to those, hit us up on the HRP listener line, 713-780-3776. What Rocket trade in history would you most want to undo? And put together your all-time favorite starting five. We'll kick that around. Brian, Sean, and Cam will return to ESPN Radio 97.5 FM and 97.9 HD2.
The Bullpen is broadcasting live from the mobile Huntington Bank Studios, located at Tom's Watch Bar.
On ESPN 97.5 and 97.9 HD2.
Here's Brian McDonald and Sean Mapes.
Rally up H-Town, Tom's Watch Bar, Red Nation rallies at Green Street. Fire up 2 hours before tip-off with DJs, giveaways, themed cocktails, and more. Headed to the game, park free with Tom's Validation to come back for post-game drinks and highlights on their 65-plus TV screens here at Tom's Watch Bar. Get the full schedule at tomswatchbar.com/Red Nation Rallies, and this place is packed. It is a great spot. I mean, no matter where your eye turns to, there's so many TVs. We got UFC on, we got hockey on, we got college basketball on. NBA will obviously be coming up here at 7:30, a national game for the Rockets on ABC against the Mavericks. It is within walking distance of the Toyota Center, so great spot for your pre or post game. So as we teased going into the break and a couple times before that, it is time for our big question. First one we're going to go with is, what is the trade in franchise history you'd most want to undo? And Cam, I know when I brought this up to him before the show, just making sure he was ready to go on this one, you said one popped into your mind immediately, Cam. So
yes.
I've been waiting to hear this answer for about 2 hours. What is this trade that you'd most want to undo in franchise history?
Trading away Rudy Gay and Stromal Swift for Shane Battier.
Ooh.
That's the one you'd most want to undo. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Stromal Swift. I mean, come on, whatever. But Rudy Gay became a pretty good player, but not.
It was a win now trade. It was a trade to get a veteran piece instead of a young guy.
I'm not gonna say that. At the time, it was a
terrible trade. It wasn't terrible.
It's hard to say it was terrible because
did nothing.
Well, you didn't know what you were going to get out of Stromal and Rudy because they were both rookies at the time. But then Rudy Gay went on to have a 20-year career where he was one of the most elite shooters. And Shane Battier, you just brought over for his 3 or 4 years of just defense. And then when Stromal did come back,
it was a win now trade.
it was I guess it was a win now, but. Regardless of win now.
The problem was Jeff Van Gundy wasn't going to play rookies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we could have loved Rudy Gay, and I actually won a contest from a station here in town to go to that draft. So I have a picture with Rudy Gay wearing a Rockets hat somewhere at my parents' house. It's on a photo album. I'll find that for you guys next time I'm over there. But he was never going to play on that team.
But he would have been He would have been Tracy McGrady insurance, I guess. But, after a couple years, he kind of would have been your wing creator.
Yeah, but all right, that's on Van Gundy then. Because look what Rudy Gay when he went to Memphis. He was amazing. So, you could argue that, he wouldn't have fit with Van Gundy's philosophy of not playing rookies. But that still doesn't eliminate the fact that you could argue that it was a bad trade.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
It was the classic, hey, we don't care what this guy turns into. We need
because
we need a guy to guard Kobe when we play him in the playoffs. It's essentially what they made the trade.
And did Shane actually make the Rockets better? Not really.
That's where Cam's argument I think gets strengthened because they make that trade and then they lose in the first round the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So I after losing in the first round before the trade to the Mavericks, they then lose in the first round the next 2 years to the Jazz. After making that move for Battier. So that definitely helpens Cam's side. So that wasn't my worst trade.
Yeah, I'm interested in what yours is.
But
let me see. Does it happen before the year 2000?
Are you going to age shame here?
2003?
It does happen before the year 2003.
Hit me.
Yeah, look, he's an all-time great. He's a Hall of Famer. But I still hate the trade of trading away Sam Cassell and Robert Horry for Charles Barkley.
I knew.
Horry and Cassell.
Oh, okay.
You had me there.
I had you dead.
You had me dead to rights. And
you know what?
Fair. But you traded the Rockets traded away. They were a team with Hakeem, who was 33 or so at the time. Drexler, obviously a couple years older than that.
Did they already have Pippen, or is he?
No,
the next year?
Pippen was later. Yeah. Pippen's a good 4 years later.
Oh, okay.
But they had an older team that really needed that next wave of players, and they traded all the way for a guy just as old and even more broken down in Charles Barkley. So while they still did get to a Western Conference final and get in 1997 before obviously losing to the Jazz, I think it sacrificed the long term. The Rockets staying at kind of a level over the next, towards the end of Hakeem's career.
You might have me convinced that might be the worst trade. Because as much as I dislike the Shane Battier trade, at least he was on the team for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
We had Barkley for 1 year.
No, he was on the team more than that. It was 2 or 3 years.
It was not very much time.
Yeah, I
1 or 2 years.
I think
and he knocks on Texas and Houston all the time. So
mostly San Antonio in the big
and Galveston.
And Galveston. To be fair, he's right about Galveston.
And I think it's actually worth having the Galveston bit on because Charles Barkley would not know what Galveston is if he was not traded to the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
I actually think the Galveston bit on Inside the NBA is worth
the
trade. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean. Was I alive for any of these? I don't think I have no memory of Charles Barkley ever playing for the Rockets.
You were born in 97. He was still on the team in 97.
Okay.
That was 90. I thought he got traded in 98.
I can look this up.
Traded to? No, he was traded to the Rockets after their second title.
Really?
Yeah, 90. I guess it'd been 95 or 96. Yeah. And then he was on the team like 96, 97, 90, and he wasn't on the team.
Yeah, his first year was 96, 97.
Yep.
And actually, he was on
three-
the Rockets for
3
4
seasons?
years.
Okay, see.
How many?
4 years.
No way.
I mean,
See?
he did only play. He played 42 and 20 the last 2 years. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just knew
so
it was
2
more than
years.
one season.
Yeah.
Basically 2
Things
years.
winded down.
Yeah.
All right, so Sean, what is your Cam and I both gave our trade. He said Shane Battier. I said the Charles Barkley trade. What is your trade you'd most like to undo? I have a feeling you're going to bring us much closer to present time.
I mean, I have one that's
unless you go like the article that this conversation is based on said the Moses Malone trade, which even I wasn't even alive for. So
yeah, I was gonna go with 2012. The Rockets traded a guy by the name of Kyle Lowry to the Toronto Raptors for Gary Forbes and a first-round pick.
That's a good one.
And they really, you know what they really needed? A point guard to pair with James Harden for a couple years there.
Sure, we'll try one.
And
Thank you.
Thank you. We're getting a drink here.
Yeah, we're getting
on the
a
air.
drink. The
But yeah,
service
shout out
here
to
is
Tom's
great
Watch
at
Bar.
Tom's Watch Bar.
The Kyle Lowry trade
Cheers, fellas.
is not as high. Cheers.
As we all take a moment
Moment
to
of silence.
throw back our drink.
It's not quite. I already took the shot. It's not quite as
pretty good.
high. It's not like a high variance trade at all.
No,
but
it doesn't give you a title.
Kyle
if you don't
Lowry
make that deal.
immediately became like a really good player on like the second best player on a playoff team the year after
Right.
you trade him. So it's a little bit of like, man, you wouldn't have had to mess around with like the Jeremy Lin years. You wouldn't have had to mess around with Patrick Beverly. Like you would just had better Patrick Beverly. You would would have had Kyle Lowry with James Harden. That's one where again, it's not like this trade does not keep me up at nights, but it is one thing where I'm like, you know what, it actually would have been sick just to have Kyle Lowry on a team with James Harden.
Yeah, I mean, it was dope that they got a first-round pick back. But it's just like, oh, wait, Gary Forbes?
And that first-round pick.
Who is that guy?
I don't think he stayed on the team.
No, and that first-round pick was eventually Steven Adams. So he was part of that pick was part of the James Harden trade like 4 months later in October of 2012. So I mean, you probably can still get the trade. You just trade a different first-round pick for James Harden. Like the Harden trade's the best trade they ever made.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I think that
T-Mac one was pretty good too.
Yeah, T-Mac actually.
Francis
It's close.
Mobley.
Yeah.
But you got back Juwan Howard in that trade too. He was serviceable a couple years.
Yeah, but I mean, the Harden one was only Kevin Martin in a first-round
pick.
pick.
No, Harden was definitely the best one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying McGrady was also a good trade.
Yeah. Another one, honorable mention. Chris Paul getting traded.
That was one I was curious if you guys would have.
Yeah, Chris Paul and 2 first-round picks for Russell Westbrook, who was on the team for 1 year.
Hindsight, awful trade.
Yeah, for me, I was kind of like, this team's kind of out of like actual title contention mode. So if you just want to trade,
I think it's the first that bothered me. Like if you just wanted to swap
Yeah.
guys that both teams were tired of, cool.
Yeah.
But then have to throw in 2 firsts on top.
And in 2021, they had to, because it was top 4 protected. So in 2021, they had to actually keep that pick, and they ended up keeping that pick. It was Jalen Green. They got the second pick, and it was Jalen Green. But there was a moment there where it's like, you might have tanked and then just not had a first-round pick that year because of this kind of dumb trade where you trade point guards because James Harden doesn't like Chris Paul because he yells at him, and he likes Russell Westbrook.
Which
instead.
lasted, what, a year?
1 year.
Yeah, 1 year.
Yep.
And you were the 4 seed. You win a playoff round, lose to the Lakers. And because of that, you then have to trade Clint Capella to go 5 out to play super small ball because you can't have a non-shooter on the floor with Westbrook because he's a non-shooter. Like, it kind of did just kind of ruin their team.
I feel like there's one common denominator in this conversation.
James Harden?
No, it's circulating around point guards.
Yeah, we all did bring up.
Yeah. Are we not, like, what is the issue here?
Yeah.
It's like the Astros with catchers and first basemen. Like, what is the issue every year with those positions?
Signing a 34-year-old first baseman to a 3-year deal, you immediately won back. Hey, you know what? Let's do it again.
Jose Abreu is the equivalent of a point guard who can't shoot.
Yeah. He's the Jeremy Lin of this.
So checking in on the text line from 8665 asks DeAndre Hopkins. This is a Rockets conversation. That's the answer there.
Yes, but Hopkins, good answer.
Hopkins is probably
would be the Texans' answer.
Yes, he would be the Texans' answer. We didn't get to our starting fives. A few starting fives from the text line from 4199. His starting 5 favorite was Harden, Clyde Drexler, KD, Hakeem, and Şengün.
That'd be
That's
a killer
pretty sick.
lineup.
That's
That'd be a
pretty
killer
sick.
lineup.
Another one coming into the text line from 4818. His all-time Rockets lineup with Hakeem McGrady, Patrick Beverly, Shane Battier, then Kevin Durant.
That one's interesting because
maybe he's trying to take it more realistic. That you need some glue guys.
Because it is like 2 3-and-D guys around your best players.
Around your best players in franchise history.
Yeah,
I know that one shook Cam a little bit.
He's like, what if it was Rudy Gay instead?
I would rather have Moochie Norris than Patrick Beverly on my list.
So quickly, we could give our starting fives. My starting five, my bigs were Yao and Scola.
Okay.
Again, this is favorites. It doesn't have to be necessarily. I mean, Otis Thorpe was better. Moses Malone was better.
No Kelvin Cato love.
Hakeem was better. I know. And I also kind of would just want to exclude Hakeem because no bleep. You know, so, like we all have. Anyway. I mean, you don't have to do that. That's the way I went with it.
Hakeem and 4 shooters.
Yes, exactly. That's what they won a title with that. So, anyway, my bigs, Yao and Scola. My wings, Mad Max and Durant. And my point guard, CP3.
I also had CP3 as my point guard.
Who's the rest of your starting five?
So I'm going to go with Paul and Harden.
Okay.
Hopefully just for 1 year.
Can they get along this time?
Yeah. This is the fantasy booking of they don't hate each other yet.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the 3, it's interesting because you do have a lot of you can't just go McGrady there. And, he could play that. You could go more spacing. I just want to shout out, give some love to the 94 team. So give me Robert Horry in that spot.
Nice.
It could easily be Trevor Ariza also, but it's like, well, that I am now just building the 2018 Rockets.
With Mad Max in the same situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
give me a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah, so let me get Horry. Let me get Durant. I mean, maybe it's prisoner of the moment, but Kevin Durant's freaking awesome to watch play basketball every night. And then at center, I mean, it is the no-duh pick, but it's the no-duh pick for a reason. Hakeem Olajuwon.
There you go.
Greatest Rocket of all time.
So I'm going to go my bigs, Yao and Hakeem.
Okay. Wow, Twin Towers.
Good luck getting in the paint against Cam.
Yeah.
At small forward,
Ralph Sampson, too small. Give me a taller guy.
I know he's only been here for half a season, but obviously Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
James Harden at the 2.
Ooh.
And I was having to shuffle this one around because at the same time that I could move James to the point and plug in Trevor Ariza as that defensive 2, I love Steve Francis. I love Steve Francis. So I think I would probably leave Steve Francis at the point guard.
Steve Francis and Harden in the same backcourt seems toxic.
It does seem tough. A lot of great nights, though.
Yeah.
A lot of great nights.
The ups
after the game.
The ups, great.
Mostly.
Oh, yeah, well. I think Francis probably might have had a jersey retired as well.
Maybe before the game.
I can't confirm it.
And my 6th man, even though we weren't going to do 6 men, Katino Mobley.
Oh, okay. Not Kevin Martin. I thought you were going to say Kevin Martin.
No, not Kevin Martin.
Not Kevin Martin.
No, if I had to pick someone from those teams, oh, man, maybe Francisco Garcia. Get a shooter off the bench.
You're not going to say Chuck Hayes? Come on, baby. Chuck Wagon.
The Chuck Wagon?
The Chuck Wagon was elite.
No
right.
Boston
If
knockout.
I have to go with 6'6", 6'6",
if I only allow you 6'6" centers, then yes.
Him
all
and
right, we got to get out.
Cato.
We got to get out. We got to get out because you know what we have on the other side, Break Boys.
What do we have?
We have Mount Rushmore +1. Tom's Watch Bar about to find out about Mount Rushmore +1. That one, ESPN Radio 97.9 and 97.5 and 97.9 HD2 continues next. Welcome in, Houston and Tom's Watch Bar, to the best part of your weekend. Welcome into Mount Rushmore Plus One, the award-winning, groundbreaking segment that has forever changed the landscape of sports radio in Houston and the world beyond. It will get Sean, myself, Cam Smith, Joe George. It'll get Andrew Carlson. It'll get R.J. Saunders. It'll get Josh Savans and many others
Among
in the
others.
Texas Radio Hall of Fame, and far less than the 27 years it took those bubs, John and Lance.
Yep.
Facts.
Maybe Anthony.
Maybe Anthony will
Just
even
for
get to the
sitting at
Texas.
this table
Yeah,
next
through
to us.
osmosis. He's
Yes.
sitting next to us.
Maybe McKenzie.
Sam might get into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. because of
McKenzie,
this.
our waitress.
McKenzie, our waitress. Great waitress. She's been helping us out all day.
Tom of Tom Watch Bar himself.
All 65 plus televisions in this sub B getting into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. All right, it's time for Mount Rushmore Plus One, and I will go ahead and go first. My Mount Rushmore Plus One is of the most meaningless accolades and awards someone can get, inspired by the Pro Bowl nomination for Shedeur Sanders, who was objectively one of the worst quarterbacks in the league this year, but a la Tyler Huntley in the season he threw 2 touchdown passes, still got into the Pro Bowl anyway because the Pro Bowl is meaningless and everyone backs out.
Yep.
So these are the most meaningless accolades that one could get. Let's start it off with the Pro Bowl. It's right there. It just
Reason for the season.
it just does not mean a thing. Like if we were to have an argument about a player getting into the Hall of Fame and you ever tried to quote Pro Bowls, I'm instantly checked out in the conversation. Yes.
Like 2015.
Yes. Like there was a point in time when Pro Bowl meant something. Players played
Maybe
in
like-
it, and it was a worthy measure of someone's greatness. It ain't been that way in a long time.
2010? 2015?
I don't know.
2015 is the first one I remember being like, oh my God, this is
I
bad.
would go even back further because Vince Young made 2 Pro Bowls. I love VY.
He was good that first
I
year.
love
good
VY.
that first year. What's
okay,
happening?
Okay, that's one. What
Am
about
I,
the other?
am I doing the show with Jeff Fisher right now? What's going on?
I believe, and someone can fact check me. I believe the second time he made the Pro Bowl, it was like 8 touchdowns, like 12 interceptions. Like so that's going back to
The voice of the
2010.
fans. The voice of the fans. They spoke.
All right, so Pro Bowl is one of them. Next on my list, and I know this is I'm talking about Big Brother here, so I got to be a little careful. Papa of the network, an ESPY. Quick, Cam, tell me anyone who won an ESPY last year. Exactly. No one knows who's won an ESPY. It is a meaningless award. Like seriously, name a single ESPY winner anytime.
Jim Valvano.
What do you win? Exactly. It doesn't matter.
Best speech.
Maybe he did.
Well, he definitely deserved an award.
I'm not saying you did.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you didn't. I'm not saying you didn't. All right, so that is
that is a good point, though. I'm trying to. I mean,
no one knows.
2019 LSU had to have won best
There's
team,
nothing
right?
going on that day. It's literally like the slowest
No.
week of sports. They
I
put it there intentionally, and still no one knows.
I literally take that week off every year.
Exactly. Shout out College Football 26. Next one on the list, making the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Oh,
It's kind of a meaningless
Can I-
accolade. Like it's because it's not an NBA Hall of Fame. It's a
basketball.
And there's so many people who, if you had to judge it by either a college basketball or NBA only
career,
you would not get in.
Like Yao Ming's like a no doubt about it Hall of Famer
Right.
because of what he did for China
Yes.
in basketball. But
Yes, exactly.
His NBA career was 10 seasons.
All right, 2 more here on my Mount Rushmore plus one of the most meaningless accolades or awards: winning a Golden Globe. Like seriously, like it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like what? Like tell me who won the Golden Globe for Best Picture last year? Exactly. Who won Best Actor for Golden Globes last year?
Timothy Chalamet.
You're guessing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I am.
Duh.
You're right.
Golden Globe is a secondary award that you only put on there if you got you only put on the sleeve for the. Not people don't buy the Blu-ray. The people don't buy Blu-rays anymore. But you only put it on the cover if you got nothing else to put on there.
Yeah.
Like
No.
that's not something you
It's
want
like-
to brag about.
It's like we just want to get famous people in a room together,
yeah.
but it's not the Oscars. Like,
No.
so we'll lower our standards a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
and let some TV people in here too. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that it's movies and TV, like, kind of like, well,
It cheapens it,
Yeah,
right?
it cheapens it.
All right, so one more on here. So just shout out to all the fathers out there. For
Oh,
this
no.
one. Any award that you get on a mug. Like if it's father, like best father year, best boss,
Best
husband, best wife, anything like that. If they put the award on a mug, it is meaningless. So that is my Mount Rushmore +1 of the most meaningless awards and accolades. Cam, your Mount Rushmore +1, sir.
Terrific. Mine is hilarious random sports.
Okay.
Okay. Is this inspired from what we saw the last time we were here?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
Sean wasn't here for this, but the TV screen where they had no one listening knows what we're talking about here. But the TV screen where they have UFC playing was just an endless loop of basically ESPN 8 the Ocho. Just random sports from around the world that we'd never heard of. But anyway, continue, Cam.
So in no particular order, and these are random sports that I feel like I would chuckle and be entertained at, like almost like this is stupid, but I'm going to watch it.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Sure, of course.
Captivating.
Cheese rolling.
Oh yeah.
Only for the fact that they're running downhill and falling over themselves trying to grab a piece of cheese.
It felt like for like 3 years there, ESPN really tried to make the cheese rolling thing a thing.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like they really tried to show it out.
Some of those people are literally like throwing their bodies downhill.
They're like breaking
just
collarbones.
to catch a roll of cheese. So cheese rolling. I know this is going to sound super random. I'm a big, I actually enjoy folding clothes and ironing. So extreme ironing.
What? Okay.
Extreme.
Sean, should we dive into this?
Okay, so
What makes
this is a sport?
What makes folding and ironing extreme?
Okay, first off, folding is enjoyable when the clothes come out warm. If they've been
I
sitting
understand.
there,
Yes.
then no.
Yeah,
but
what-
if it's fresh out the dryer, like the warmness.
This is not a sport so far, though.
No.
Yeah, what makes
extreme
it a sport?
ironing is a sport.
But that's my question though. What makes it extreme?
What makes it a sport?
I don't ask me. I didn't invent it.
No,
It's just a thing.
hold on. You
But if
have to have watched this.
Yes, but when
No.
I turn on my TV and I
What makes it extreme? What makes it a sport?
I guess it's extreme because you're
getting
dealing with
timed?
a hot, high-pressured instrument, and you're getting timed on
Or
the
the-
effectiveness of how you're ironing clothes.
is it like
Are the
gymnastics?
Are the athletes sitting on a couch while they do this?
No, they're standing.
Okay.
They're
Is
standing.
it like gymnastics where you get graded on the quality of the ironing? Because I can pass an iron over a shirt very fast.
It's based on speed but efficiency.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's qualifications to
Okay.
this one.
That's-
The next one.
Yeah, sorry, we're live on the radio right now. You can't move.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, Cam. Shut out.
Toe wrestling.
Toe wrestling.
Like it's just instead of thumb wrestling, it's the big toes.
It's the big toes.
It's the big toes.
I could see having that much control of my big toe to then wrestle with it.
Yeah, and it's not so much that
Maybe speaking for myself here, but-
I like watching toes. It's more their facial
All right,
reactions.
settle down, Rex
No,
Ryan.
Make that a
no,
drop. Make
no,
that a
no,
drop.
no,
Make that a drop,
No,
yeah.
I'm gonna come out right now and say I do not have a toe fetish. But
Oh, we will save that for Don Belmer
make
next
that a
week.
drop.
it's more the facial features that these people are making while they're trying to wrestle their toes.
So is it like a thumb war, but with your toes?
with your big toe?
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea how many are left on this.
The next one,
I think
this-
we're only at 3.
We're at 3, and we
Okay.
talked about this the
All
last time, and I couldn't think of the name. It's
Okay.
car jitsu. So it's jiu-jitsu, but in the car. The one where I was like, oh, they're playing tag.
They're fighting.
They're
inside
fighting,
the car.
but they're inside of a car, and
yeah.
to
Kind
win.
of like the scene in Deadpool and
Yeah.
Wolverine.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
In order to win, you have to
Yeah.
unbuckle and get out of one of the windows without that's how you win. So
Yeah.
I was like, I've seen this sport, but I thought it was tag or something.
So in this, are they just wrestling each other to get out, or are they actually punching and kicking?
Oh no, they're some of the ones I've seen. They're throwing elbows, and they are doing whatever they can to unbuckle and get out of the window. It is literally.
You're not just wrestling your way out. You can knock somebody out and then crawl out.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like you're being kidnapped, and you're doing whatever you can to get out of the car.
All right. All right.
And then the last one. Shout out to all my short kings. Dwarf throwing.
Is that still PC? What? I don't know. What is the PC way to say
That is
throwing little people? Is it throwing little people? I don't know.
Well, I mean, technically it's called dwarf throwing,
Okay.
but obviously dwarf.
I'll just assume we're okay to say that. I think Granado would be fine.
I don't know. I mean, I'm
So-
short. I feel like I can comment on
So
this.
is this on?
ESPN 8 the Ocho.
This is an Ocho sport, not
How-
just from the scene
No.
of Wolf of Wall Street.
Somebody,
Oh, okay. All right. I think we're fine. Okay.
Okay.
All right. As long as this is
anything-
shown.
Any more thoughts on this, Jonah Hill from Wolf of Wall Street?
Please don't.
Don't look him in the eyes. Nothing like that. Okay, thank you.
Hopefully, we don't do everything Jonah Hill did in that movie.
I mean, he had fun.
He was
He had-
vigorous in the
fun.
fun he had. All right, main event, Mapes. Main event, this bad boy. I don't know where the hell this is going now. But please try to follow up Little Person in toe wrestling.
I don't think I can. This is the
Okay.
Mount Rushmore +1 of jobs I have zero experience in, but I kind of think I'd be good at.
Okay. All right.
Number 1, car salesman. Seems pretty easy. You just be as pushy as possible.
You think you're a pretty persuasive person?
Yeah, I mean, like, you came all this way, and you don't think you want to find yourself in a brand new Buick Enclave? Come on, Brian.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
wow,
Definitely
you got
not.
my attention with that one. I looked up. I was like, oh, wow.
Exactly.
I think I want to get a brand new Buick Enclave.
Exactly. Pre-owned.
Okay, my bad. Sorry, Sean.
But less than 20,000 miles. Next, bartender at a small town bar. Because I think I'd be good at, like, mingling with the locals,
Okay.
like with the regulars. I can't be out there, like, making, like, hey, have you ever heard of a whatever, Tucson Twist? No, I don't know how to make that. But I can slide you a beer and then be like, man, wives, am I right? Like, I feel like I'm good at the connection with the common folk, Next, MLB's grounds crew.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I can roll out a tarp. I feel like I can.
So which aspect are you doing? You painting the lines? You
yeah.
you watering the infield? What are we doing here?
Kind
All
of
the
feel
above?
like I
All
can
right.
do all of that. I feel like I could be the one who pushes the base into the
Sure.
hole. I think
Sure.
I can be the one again that rolls out the tarp when
Yeah.
it's a rain delay. I mean, other than like the one thing I can't do, I can say definitively in this list of saying things I can do without ever having done them. One thing I don't think I can do is do the thing where they carve in like a logo into
Oh,
the
yeah,
outfield
yeah,
grass. I actually don't know how they do that.
Yeah,
I could not do that.
It's witchcraft.
I could not do that. But everything else,
All right.
I could do the thing where they like pound in the like pitcher's mound
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that
yeah.
big. Yeah, I could do all that. That's easy. If you're a grounds crew member, I could take your job. Next up, mascot.
I felt like you didn't leave the ballpark.
I feel like I could also
You
be
just
a mascot.
walked over to a different part.
I feel like I could also
Just
be a
walked
mascot.
across the infield.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's that hard to,
Wow.
throw.
Wow, you're trying to take Clutch the Bear's job?
I could
Come
throw
on, man.
I could throw a sheet cake
Come
in
on,
someone's
man.
face. I could.
Yeah,
I
you
could,
probably could. You
I
probably could.
shoot backward. Now I might not make them like Clutch
Yeah.
Bam, but I could shoot the backwards half court granny
Yeah,
shots. Yeah.
Can I
I can do
interject
hijinks.
and throw in a random job that I think you would also be good at?
Okay.
And I did it too. The manual scoreboard at the Astros.
Oh, I actually have experience running scoreboards of like
High five, my guy.
of like youth
High
sports
five,
games.
my guy.
I definitely got paid $10 an hour at some point to run the scoreboard at
You
a
want me
game.
to just switch the numbers?
Yeah, just
Tight.
keep count of who
Yeah.
scores. Okay, that's
No,
easy.
no fan in here, and I have to share the bathroom dugout with the opposing pitcher. Sure.
Yeah, well, that part sucks. But yeah,
Oh, it did.
good note. Not qualified because I already have done that. But I guess I was good. I didn't get immediately fired.
You
so
were
I was
too
good.
good.
at it.
You were too good.
Probably. I advanced past that. Last one, car wash / flower shop / laundromat front for the mob. I feel like I'd be very good at being the guy who launders money for the mob, but not
Man.
not the accountant because I don't know how to do any
I'm
of
about
that.
to say, like, you'd have to be Marty from Ozark, and that was a rough life for Marty.
It is a rough life, but I feel like I could run a respectable business that also has some things going on behind
All right.
behind
Oh,
the
okay.
scenes.
At first, I was like,
You just
what?
leave the safe open on Thursday nights. They slip a few
Yeah,
in.
yeah, like I'm here to get a I'm here to get a something for prom, some flowers for prom. Why is the manager talking to some guy with a neck tattoo? That's me. talking to the guy with the neck tattoo.
So individually, at first I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a car wash and a floral shop
either one of
attached
them.
together. Yeah, I was like, all right,
Either one of
thank you
them.
for clarifying,
Yes.
because I was like, interesting.
Shout out to Breaking Bad.
Breaking
shout
Bad.
out to Skyler for
Yes,
running the
Breaking Bad.
car wash.
What was it? The town where there's a flower shop. Where that's a
Probably.
front for the mob.
I think so.
Yeah,
all of
it
that.
is the town.
I could do that.
You can run the legitimate business.
Yes,
all right,
for the mob.
All right, I like it. All right, well, that was Mount Rushmore
have no
plus
choice.
one into the show for us. But make sure you come out and check out Tom's Watch Bar. Tom's Watch Bar, Red Nation rallies at Green Street fire up 2 hours before tip-off each Saturday or Friday and Saturday before a home game with DJs, giveaways, themed cocktails, and more. Head out to the game part-free with Tom's Validation, then come back for post-game drinks and highlights on their more than 65-plus television screens here at Tom's Watch Bar. Get the full schedule at tomswatchbar.com/Red Nation Rallies. We can attest the vibes in here are great. The food is great. Cam had a great chicken sandwich. I had the shrimp. Shout out to Mackenzie, our bartender. She's done a great job helping us out today. We'll be back here, I believe, in March, so make sure you check the schedule for that. But for Cam, for Sean, for Ryan Morrow back in the studio, I've been Brian McDonald. Thank you for listening, Houston. We will see you all next week.